So I don't know if you saw this or not. If you were paying attention, maybe you tuned out. And he said, I don't really care that much. I'm not locked in. So LeBron admitted what has been an open secret to many who follow this stuff, that he may return to the Cavaliers for the third time. LeBron telling The Athletic behind a paywall, he said, quote, the door's not closed on that. He says he doesn't know what the future holds as he tried to give himself plausible deniability. LeBron also told the assembled media that wherever his son Bronny James ends up in a couple of years, that's where he'll be. In addition, but wait, there's more. LeBron kissing the tuchus of Oklahoma City GM Sam Presti, saying he's the MVP over there for the Thunder. So let us discuss the question, do the Lakers have a LeBron James problem? And I am nodding my head yes. Yes, yes, yes. I've got rotisserie, forbidden fruit, and conductor. And we will combine all of these things together, and we're going to make the Baba Ganoush. We're going to make the Baba Ganoush. Now, Number one. So LeBron James is the one calling the shots here. And he ain't happy. And if LeBron's not happy, nobody is happy. We can all agree, every man, woman, and child, that the 2021/2022 Lakers blow. All right? Yeah, LeBron James also, we can agree on this, had his finger in the pie. Okay, the roster that the Lakers have right now is a hodgepodge of washed-up veterans and broken-down players with young players who haven't done anything to get all excited about. It is the assembled masses in the melting pot that is the Laker locker room that it just hasn't worked. It hasn't worked, and you have the meddling superstar with the work of his underlings that helped put this together. LeBron James, as he has done in Cleveland and as he has done in Miami, has played rotisserie basketball. You spin the rotisserie around, bringing together the biggest names he could get his hands on. Oh, Carmelo Anthony. Oh, he's so good. Yeah, oh, yeah, okay. Russell Westbrook also. You've got square peg meet round hole on the Laker team, and it's really, I guess it's validating because we all said this was going to be a disaster, and here we are at the All-Star break, and ta-da! Here it is. These guys have been unable to walk and chew gum at the same time together. Of course, rather than admit the truth, rather than admit that this has been a hot, toxic stew, that's not how LeBron's wired. He doesn't do that. LeBron is notorious for blaming everybody and everything but himself. It's weird because we know there's a lot of mirrors LeBron likes to look at when he's walking around his house, but there's no mirrors when it comes to taking culpability for putting together a crap NBA team. His scapegoat now, based on what we've heard, LeBron and the people around LeBron have decided the person most responsible for the dreck that is the Lakers roster is Mr. Skinny Jeans himself, Rob Pelinka, the figurehead GM of the Lakers. We're hearing now that Team LeBron is upset. They're angry with Skinny Jeans, the GM over there, because a Team LeBron wanted to trade the dead weight Russell Westbrook for other dead weight John Wall, and the Lakers would have had to have given up a first-round pick, something they don't have really much of any value in the next couple of years. They traded most of their picks away to get Anthony Davis. Now, the main reason, though, that Team LeBron wanted to make that trade is said to be they had ulterior motives because John Wall is under the Clutch Sports umbrella. So he's part of Team LeBron's family under the agency that LeBron, I'm sure, has nothing to do with. I'm sure no business is done with LeBron. It's all Rich Paul. LeBron has nothing to do with it. Now, secondly, I love when you take a couple steps back. I love the fact that the Lakers are in this situation right now because of desperation, right? Desperation. Under Jeanie Buss's ownership, the Lakers were abject failures. She's one of the worst owners in NBA history. It's documented because her dad, Dr. Buss, when Dr. Buss was around, the Lakers had consistently good teams. They very rarely went that long without having a good roster. With Jeanie Buss, when Jerry Buss passed away, with Jeanie calling the shots, the Lakers in the lottery year after year, more top 5 picks than playoff wins. That's a fact. You can look it up. And so the Lakers, they got a little desperate. They said, you know what? Jeanie said, I can't win. I suck at this. The players are terrible. I draft. They don't live up to the hype. So the Lakers decided to take a bite of the forbidden fruit. They made a deal with the devil, right? When you make a deal with the devil, it goes well for a while, and then eventually it comes back, and we know how that ends. So LeBron James enters stage right. He comes in. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? So the MALLER math on this, I've looked at the scorecard, and it's N plus O equals no. That's the MALLER math. So here's LeBron as a Laker. First year lottery. Lakers were in the lottery with LeBron James year 1. Year 2, bogus Mickey Mouse title, 3 months of vacation off because of COVID. Nobody counts that as legitimate. It's an illegitimate Mickey Mouse situation at a resort in Orlando with no fans. So that doesn't count. Year 3, first round elimination of the playoffs by the Phoenix Suns, where the Lakers had no business being on the same court with the Suns. It was an embarrassing, gutless effort by the Lakers. And now this season, the purple and gold are 27-31. As we are speaking right now, it is the All-Star break in the NBA. That's a .466 winning percentage. We have played over 70% of the NBA schedule. And as the big tuna said it best, Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. And the Lakers are vakakta, is what they are, as my Yiddish grandfather would say. Now, final point. So what does the future hold now for LeBron? You've come to the right place. As a distant relative of the great Nostradamus and friend of Nostradamus, and I own a crystal ball. So I've got all these things. All right. The future is cloudy, foggy, with a chance of hail. Is it true? When the going gets tough, LeBron is the first one to get going. I believe the track record speaks for itself here. LeBron has done it twice in Cleveland, and I believe he will do it again one more time. He also did it in Miami. So in Cleveland, he was drafted by the Cavs, so he didn't have any say in the matter, although many people believe that was all planned out by the powers that be. But LeBron hightailed it out of Cleveland. He didn't think he could win with the Cavaliers. He needed superstar players around him. He wasn't good enough on his own. He went to Miami. He formed Voltron in Miami, and he won. And then that roster started aging out, so LeBron hightailed it back to Cleveland. That by that time, the Cavs had sucked for so many years. They had picked up good young players. Also made a trade to get feel the love from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Kevin Love. And so then they had a team worthy of winning a championship, and so that's what happened. And then that started going sideways, and so LeBron hightailed it out of Cleveland, and he took off to go to the Lakers. Well, he got to the Lakers, and much to his dismay, those young players the Lakers had sucked. So then LeBron had to trade some of those young players and pretty much every draft pick that's worth anything to New Orleans to take a crowbar and get the unibrow out to Lakerland, but we know how that's turned out. Anthony Davis, the real Anthony Davis, has now shown up. The most brittle man in the NBA, Anthony Davis. You can't depend on a guy like Anthony Davis. And so here we are at a fork in the road. And why would it be any different? The Lakers have no draft capital to trade. They've got old, broken down players. Their top player is Anthony Davis, the unibrow, who is a tumor in terms of reliability. It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess. So LeBron is working as the conductor. He's on the express train. Choo-choo. Next stop, Splitsville. Parting of the ways, right? Now, it's complicated because technicality-wise, LeBron James is stuck with the Lakers because he is under contract for another season. He's not a free agent at the end of the year. He won't become a free agent until after the 2023 season, which is the next following year. That makes him waterfowl, as in a lame duck. So there are options. LeBron could sign an extension with the Lakers, which is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Or, since LeBron runs the NBA, he can handpick his next destination. We mentioned he's the conductor of the train, and the NBA long ago allowed the players to call the shots. So LeBron could orchestrate a deal back to the Cavaliers for some random lottery tickets and a few spare parts, and they could work the numbers out, cook the books if they have to, crunch the numbers, move some decimal points around, use that old voodoo math, and then have LeBron team up with Darius Garland and Jared Allen. The Cavs have a couple of Eastern Conference All-Stars on their roster. Evan Mobley's not a bad young big guy. And so they've got some decent players on the Cavs. And so LeBron's like, hey, I can go there. Now, if I was Darius Garland or Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, I would not want LeBron to come back because these guys are trying to write their own story. Garland's trying to become his own boss man of the NBA. And when LeBron, if he walks back through that door, when LeBron walks in, it's all about LeBron. It's not going to be about Darius Garland or Jared Allen or Mobley or any of these other guys on the Cavaliers. It's going to be all about LeBron this, LeBron that, blah, 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 blah. It will not stop. It will not stop. The LeBron propaganda will just keep going on and on and on and on.